Here are the top 10 things every entrepreneur or business owner should be using AI for. Now, I own multiple businesses. I own product-based business, service-based business, and I own a company that has over 400 million in assets. AI is transforming the way that we work. For most entrepreneurs and business owners, they're using AI like Google, literally a faster search bar where they're using it to get quick information, but they're not using it to its fullest potential. Now, it's really important to understand there are multiple layers of AI. In my companies, we are using it as the first layer, the helping layer. The second layer is workflow consolidation. So we're adding it into our processes and systems to condense workflow and increase our output. The third layer is the more in-depth layer. This is structural. We use this to tie into all of our different systems, acting like a brain where we can download, take in information, execute both in workflow, but also on the intelligence layer. Now, a lot of these things are a little too in-depth for this video. We're not going to dive into these. We want to focus on the things that everyone can apply and are going to get you the biggest bang for your buck. I think of AI as a way that it lowers barriers. It is the greatest tool that entrepreneurs and business owners that are not mega corporations have ever had. It's lowering the barriers that used to be held by institutions, giving intelligence, scale, and leverage to small owners. It is very much the same effect in that way that the internet had. For those that didn't use it, well, they were left. But for those that did, they reshaped corporate America and they grew their companies. That's why the first one that we have is important. How I'm going to break each one of these down. We're going to state what it is, why it matters, how to use it, and then I'm going to give you the suggested tools. So why strategic thinking partner matters. This is your access to talent and knowledge that you couldn't afford or have before. This is the way that an entrepreneur and a business owner can challenge their own thought process. They can challenge assumptions, they can challenge and compare strategic options that they may have, identifying risk before they commit capital, and pressure testing different plans. Lots of times, entrepreneurs and business owners, they don't know who to talk to. They don't have someone that can understand, that they can bounce ideas off of. AI is a great tool to allocate all the information of your business and then use it as one of those partners, not as a way to simply give you answers, but as a way to challenge your thinking, shape your ideas, and bring them to life. The first one, we have to set down a foundation and we have to look at AI as a strategic thinking partner. This kind of sets the stage for you as an entrepreneur and a business owner. How to use it. First, give it context. Make a project. Title the project Strategic Thinking Partner. Allocate within that project all the documents on your business model, your customer, your economics, your team, your constraints, everything that you can. Upload into it. Upload your financials. Put all the information that you can think of about your business. Jot notes down of the things that you're struggling with, that worry you, and maybe opportunities that you have. That way it creates a layering effect. You have your organization structure, your financials, what you're thinking of as an owner or an entrepreneur, your struggles and opportunities. Then don't ask it to give you answers you think you want. That is not what you want to do here. This is AI. There's no reason to have pride. Do the opposite. Have it argue both sides. Have it argue against your strategy. Ask it for insights on the market, the industry, and have it break your model, your financials, your plan down. This is not meant to discourage you, but instead highlight things you haven't thought of before. You would rather do it that way than find out in real life with time, people, and capital that's allocated. You also want to argue for it. Argue why this would work. What's good about this idea? What you like about the way I'm doing things, the financials. It'll come up with things that you haven't thought of before. It'll show you opportunities. Then at the end, have it merge those arguments together, put it into a document, and have like a great SWOT analysis and something that you can think off of. Then I want you to have it identify what must be true for the plan to work, meaning what must be true in order for all of these things to happen, all the things that I want to accomplish, all the things that I want to do. This shows you allocation of resource and times, things that you need to execute. Also, have it plot out assumptions that need to be tested. This is really important. Entrepreneurs and business owners, we make a lot of assumptions. You need it to outline which assumptions that you may be making that you didn't even realize that should be dove into further and need to be tested. Ask AI to act as a skeptical business strategist, acting like a consultant and breaking everything down for you and looking at your plan and highlighting opportunity and risk. Now, tools for this that you should use. You have ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, and even X. These are great tools for this line of strategic thinking. Before we go on to number 2, I need to preface. Lots of these tools are purely based on the individual that's using them, meaning which one you tend to like to interact with, to work with, how it's set up, how it flows. Personally, I enjoy Claude. Claude seems to be formatted. I like the way it presents ideas. I like the way it comes up with documents, presentation materials, how it pulls from it, the way it challenges me. But for voice interaction, which is a great way to do it, put on your headphones, talk to it, have it talk back. That actually ChatGPT is really good at. Number 2, research markets, customers, and competitors. Why it matters. You can use AI to do structured research and create a very structured, planned view of the marketplace. Identifying important facts about your industry, your business, and the marketplace before you make decisions. How to use it. Ask for customer segmentation. Ask for buying triggers, objections that customers would have, alternatives, and underserved portions. For this, what you need to do is you need to upload everything from reviews to sales calls. That's right, document your sales calls. And if it's documented by voice, plug it into AI, have it make a manuscript of it, then upload those files. Upload your competitors' pages, their marketing materials, so that AI can look at patterns that it's finding in all of them. When you're using it, it's important to request for actual source-backed research. Don't ask it to give you generic internet overflow and information. Make sure it's handled professionally and giving you sourced material. Suggested tools for this one, Perplexity, of course, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and X are all great for this. Perplexity has some really good tools in use. Turn meetings and conversations into actions. Why this matters. AI meeting tools can help you capture all the decisions, the tasks, objections, all your follow-ups, and any valuable information that doesn't necessarily get remembered or followed through after the call or meeting. Meetings are very important, but lots of times they're not handled well. And most of the time, after all the decisions and everything that was discussed in the meeting, only 50% gets executed and everything gets left in the room. This doesn't just get things left out, but it causes the need for more and more meetings. You want to reduce wasted time and increase action on those decisions. Now, how to use it? You want to record and transcribe your meetings. Obviously, make sure everybody's aware and okay with that. And if it's your company and business meeting, they should be. You need to create a standardized template and summary that you can use after every meeting. So that way there is a format that is known and easy for you and everybody else to follow. That should be decisions, who's owning those decisions, deadlines, unresolved questions and follow-ups, and people they need to contact, and everything in between. It's really important that you identify what was discussed, who owns that, next steps, and 2, how those things will be measured. Using this for your customer meetings is a great tool because over time you'll be compiling them. So you compile them, then you can see what your reoccurring customer objectives, requests, product information, sales, markets, review, and everything are. You can define what things are being done well, what your customers like, also what's being missed and what keeps being missed. You can create standards and procedures around those things. Now they're known and they're not falling through the cracks. Ask AI to turn this transcript into an executive meeting record. That needs to include key decisions, action items with the owner and the deadline, unresolved questions, raised risks, customer insights, and follow-up. Also, tell AI, do not invent anything that was not said. We don't want hallucinations or assumptions being made. Lots of times AI will try to fill in gaps. Be very clear to not do that. Now, the suggested tools for this one. Firefly AI, Otter AI is another great tool, Zoom's AI Companion, as well as Microsoft's Copilot. All of those work great for this. Number 4, create marketing content from one core idea. Now, why this matters? AI can take one strong core insight. It can turn that insight into a complete content system. This will stop you from being forced to start from a blank page every single day. This will create continuity between your content, it'll build upon itself, and it'll save a lot of time. Now, how to use it. Begin with your original story, opinion, or framework. Then ask AI to adapt it to the different platforms. I mean, YouTube, email, LinkedIn, Instagram, etc. Now, this is a really important one. You need it to preserve your voice, your cliches, your claims. It needs to not look generic. It needs to be personalized to you. It is not about creating something that is not you. It is about amplifying, streamlining who you already are, what you stand for, and what your company does. Okay, so here's what I have written down that you should ask AI. When I say ask AI, by the way, I'm talking about prompts. First, make sure the idea is stated clearly. Then ask it to use the idea to create a content package in my voice. From there, be specific. Create 5 hooks that I can use for Instagram or a 5-minute YouTube video. Create a LinkedIn post or one email. You get the point. Suggested tools, we have ChatGPT, Claude, Canva, you have CapCut, that can also work. One of the things that I think is important with this, it's not about having endless amounts of tools. In fact, I would pick a core AI that you want to use and you can build off of it. Like I said, I like Claude, so that is one of my core ones. I have a ChatGPT that I use for certain tasks and things that I want it to do. That may be more personal, but each one is specific and I'm building upon it. I'm uploading documents, it's getting to know you, your company. Every layer makes it more and more powerful. Jumping continuously through all sorts of different AIs, they don't connect and you're starting to lose things in the mix. You don't want that. Number 5, improve sales preparation and follow-up. Now, why this matters? As we know, AI is great at research, but more important than just simple research is specific proprietary research. We're talking about your prospects. You can have it role play objections, summarize those calls that are sales, and then from there, it can draft follow-ups specific on those things. So how to use it? You want to create an account brief. That's a brief that describes that individual account or customer and everything you know about them. Include in that any sales conversations or emails that you may have from that client or customer. Ask it to role play and challenge weak claims. What you want to do is you want to get those objectives and challenges out and practice them and understand them before you get into the meetings. Then you want to have it after those sales meetings or those customer meetings to draft personalized follow-ups. Now, these follow-ups should be off of the stated priorities from the customer. What you want to ask AI to do, the prompt. Prepare me for a sales call or meeting with X client, X person, or company. I want you to base this on the information that I provide. I want you to summarize any business priorities or pain points. Highlight and look over objections that either you know of or could come up based upon what you have. Then I want you to role play a skeptical buyer and critique my answers. This will help you so when you get into the meeting, you're prepared and it seems natural. That builds confidence, both in you, but also the company, the client, or your buyer. Suggested tools, Claude, ChatGPT, but also HubSpot AI, or even Gong. All right, now we're on to number 6. Analyze financial and operating data. Man, I love this stuff. Now, why this is important? AI can spot patterns really, really well. Revenue, expenses, margins, customer behavior, operational performance, and more. It can take in lots of data, find correlations, patterns that often we miss. Then it can organize it and present it. These presentations you can use for yourself or also be used in a team setting. How to use it. Data is important. Upload clean spreadsheets that explain all the columns and metrics within it. You need to ask it for anomalies, trends. What are the drivers and questions? Not just a summary. You need to ask it to ask for calculations to be shown so you can understand how things are being derived. So ask AI, give it the prompt to analyze this operating data. Confirm how you interpret each field to make sure you got it right and that you're on the same page. Then identify material trends, anomalies, margin changes, and most importantly, what are the drivers of those things? Once again, show the calculations that you're making. Now, suggested tools, ChatGPT Advanced Data Analyst. Claude, Gemini, but also Microsoft Copilot can be a great option for this. All right, number 7. Now, you may have noticed as I'm delivering these, they're building upon each other. That is intentional. And this leads into number 7, which document processes and build SOPs. Why this is important. AI can take scattered knowledge within your organization, your finances, what individuals are doing, your sales calls, and more. It can look at all of these things and build out operating procedures. That way you can streamline as well as connect the dots. It can make checklist training materials for new members that come onto the team. But it can also create quality control standards, seeing things that you're missing and maybe where things are going haywire that you can't figure out. Now, how to use this? You want to take your top players. You want them to document or have them perform the process. Then you want to dedicate and outline the steps in plain English. Ask AI to identify missing decisions, create approvals, and look for failure points in the process. Then what you want to do is you want to test that SOP with someone that's not familiar with the task to see how it's performed. What you want to ask AI or the prompt. Take these notes and turn it into a complete SOP for this process. Include the purpose, the scope, the owner, the number of steps, decision points, exceptions for this process, quality checks, escalation rules, and then a completed final checklist to work from. Ask it to flag anything that's missing and turn it into a question as opposed to guessing. So if it thinks that it's missing something, make a question. Ask, don't guess. For this one, you can use Notion AI, Scribe, and of course, ChatGPT or Claude. All right, number 8, automate repetitive administrative work. You see how that comes after we create and document the processes and SOPs. Now, why this matters. The best early automations remove that predictable rule-based work. This moves information, routes requests, and creates routine follow-ups. How to use this. List the tasks that your team repeats every single day or week. You want to prioritize the high-frequency tasks that have very clear inputs and outputs as well as rules. The things you want to keep human are things like payments, legal comments, it's not your attorney, personal decisions, and high-impact customer communication. What you want to ask AI, the prompt. Here is repetitive workflow in my organization. Or if it's just you, here is repetitive workflow for me. Redesign it using automation and AI. Now, suggested tools for this, Zapier, Make, Microsoft Power Automate, and ChatGPT, as well as Claude. Now, this leads us to number 9. As you can see, we are building a system here. This can literally help you build your entire business system from the ground floor up. Number 9, therefore, is improve hiring, training, and team development. Why this matters? Because AI can help you define role, create structured reviews for that role, build onboarding plans, and give employees or new employees practice scenarios that are tailored to the work. The important part is outcomes. Use the same criteria for every candidate. Build real situations for your team. One of the things that we do is when hiring, you give them a task. Create a unified task that is tailored to the situation or the output that you want to multiple candidates. Have them work on it and see how the work comes back. Not just the outcome, but the process by which they went through to achieve that outcome. Ask AI to create a hiring scorecard for this role. You want to define the mission of the role and create a measurable 12-month outcome. Include required competencies, structured interview questions, and also what are strong and weak answer indicators. That way you can analyze, not just get the information back. Create a practice work sample, and then a 30, 60, and 90-day onboarding game plan. Suggested tools, this one, Microsoft Copilot, but LinkedIn Tools is also great, as well as ChatGPT and Claude. Now this all brings us to number 10, build an internal knowledge system. You remember at the first, I talked about the 3 stages. Through this, we've gone through those 3 stages. And you remember that I said within my organization, I have an intelligence layer. This is the starting of that. Number 10 is the beginning of this. And this ties it all together. Now, why this matters? Because AI becomes more powerful and valuable when it can work from the company's real documents, policies, lessons, operating systems, and any knowledge that is specific. We don't want general internet knowledge. So how to use this? Centralized approved documents and give each source a clear owner and a review date. Separate current policies from outdated ones that aren't really being used anymore. So you want to require AI to cite those internal sources, making sure it admits when either information is missing or it's not pulling from it, maybe somewhere else. Ask AI or the prompt, using only approved materials provided, answer the following questions. Cite the exact source for each important claim. If the answer is outdated, missing, contradictory, say so, and identify what needs to be clarified. Your internal knowledge system is something that will be built upon. This becomes the acting brain of the organization. This allows you as an entrepreneur or an owner of your business to have access to your entire organization. And it allows you to utilize and leverage AI to build. Not do simple tasks, but to actually create an organization and a system that becomes a business instead of being retroactive. This centralization knowledge base allows you to avoid constantly starting over, wasting endless time pulling material together, not seeing the whole picture and how it interacts. The key is this is things that large organizations have. They have massive files, they have teams, and they're building off of it. They have entire teams that this is what they do. Entrepreneurs, small business owners, they don't have that. This is your ability to create it, to act, to create a system. Now, the suggested tools for this is most all that we've talked about, but I would use ChatGPT Enterprise, Microsoft Copilot, Gemini for Workspace, Notion AI, as well as Claude. Remember, what is put in is what it'll draw from. Make sure you require it to not fill in gaps and not draw from outside knowledge. Ask it what it's missing and what it needs to be provided to create or get whatever you need, instead of making anything up. This becomes a framework you can build your organization on and off of it. This will dramatically speed up your organization, reduce workflow, give you better output, and do it consistently. It is your business model and brain on your computer. Let me know which one of these things you guys have been doing with AI and what else you're doing within your organization to make it run better, or as an entrepreneur, how you're using it to build your company. And make sure you're following to see the top 10 things you need to use AI to start a business.